Welcome back to the Barrel Zone. Happy Sunday morning to everyone. Final day of February. We have a nice little 9-game slate to break down. We will get right into it. Some pretty great games already made, multiple bets. I think bookmakers got a bit lazy today. Yeah, we have some nice stuff to bet into. If you have any comment or feedback, you know where to find me at the Barrel Zone on Twitter. If you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/the Barrel Zone and join the Discord channel. Putting up tons of bets every day. We are attacking these early shitty lines, but official bets are only Pinnacle and Bookmaker as always. So let's get into it. First game of the day, LA Clippers at the Milwaukee Bucks. Line is Milwaukee -2. Interesting game. Early money has been coming in on the Clippers. This has almost flipped to 1.5 on Pinnacle. I think we will eventually see this sit somewhere between 1 and 2, but I think the 2 might be gone. So the Bucks are on extra rest at home, but they are still without Holiday. Clippers are playing their third game in 4 nights. I said that I'll be backing the Bucks in the next couple of games, and I won't be fading them. And I think that's true for this game also. So they did lose 5 straight. Then they went to this long homestand. They are on an 8-game homestand currently. This and another game is left, so they already played 6 games. But they've won 4 games now in a row. They are at home on extra rest, no back-to-backs in sight. I think they are getting their shit together finally. I have these two teams rated super close. The offensive matchup is pretty decent for both. Clippers have the highest third 3-point field goal percentage in the whole league, while the Bucks are bottom 5 in defending the 3-pointer. On the other end, Milwaukee is attacking the rim more and more, as I have been talking about recently. Clippers are a bottom 10 defense in the paint. I think this will be a higher scoring game. Both offenses should find some success. I have a slight edge on the Clippers, but I think this is not a spot to really fade Milwaukee with the long homestand, extra rest, and the Clippers have been inconsistent lately. I still think overall in the long run they are the better team, but I don't think this is a spot to really bet into. I don't want to fade the Bucks here unless the line gets super crazy. I mean, if I would get like a +3, I don't think we will see that. I would probably bet the Clippers there, even maybe at 2.5. All right. Next game is one where I really like a side. The Chicago Bulls getting 6.5 points at the Toronto Raptors. This 6.5, I think, is going away. My line is exactly 6.5 with Siakam in, and he is confirmed out for this game. He will be out until the All-Star break. He's averaging 20 points, not just the highest scorer on the team, but one of the better rebounders as well. He's averaging almost 8 rebounds. At least a 2-point downgrade to the Raptors, if not more. I would probably make this spread 4.5, but 5 at max. Bulls are hosting the Nuggets tomorrow, which obviously isn't ideal. But if you look into this matchup, it just I think it's too good for them. I can make a case for the Raptors. Obviously, they force the most turnovers in the league, and the Bulls give up the third most turnovers on the offensive end, which is terrible. Raptors are drawing the 6th most free throws in the league. Bulls giving up the 5th most. So yeah, I mean, maybe this has a shot at getting ugly. These two stats are things that are sometimes can decide the game. Raptors also face the tougher schedule. So yeah, some things look nice for Toronto, but on the other end, Bulls have a nice rebounding edge here. Offensively, they just grade as the 20th best rebounding squad. But the Raptors are the second worst in defensive rebounding. And on the other end, the Bulls are the second best defensive rebounding team, facing just the 19th Toronto squad on the offensive end. So huge rebounding edge for the Bulls to start with. And Siakam is out, who's averaging 7.5 rebounds. So and the front court is super thin. So I mean, they don't really have guys to back him up there. Uh, what I've have looked into recently, the Bulls are in a nice little streak. They grade as the 13th best offense through the last 2 weeks and the second best defense, which is pretty amazing. They have a plus 5.5 point differential, plus 5.6 against closing spreads. In the last 2 weeks, they went 5-2, which is pretty great. So I looked into why are they successful, and what I've seen is that they are attacking the rim at such an insane pace with such a high efficiency that I haven't seen from any team basically this season. So if you look into the shot selection, the Bulls are in the 95 to 99 percentile when it comes to shot attempts around the rim. Basically, in some games, more than 50% of all their shots come from 4 feet within the rim or closer, which is insanely high. Raptors allowed the ninth highest field goal percentage in the paint overall, but they aren't a great defense. And again, Siakam is out. I'm expecting that to even help the Bulls situation further. On the other end, the recent defensive gains from the Bulls have mostly come because of their great three-point defense. It has been getting better and better through the season. Now they allow the fifth lowest field goal percentage from downtown in the whole league, which is insanely good. And especially against the Raptors team that basically does nothing else, just shooting threes. They have the fourth highest three-point rate in the league, seventh highest field goal percentage. But as I said, the Bulls are giving up the fifth lowest field goal percentage. I think on both sides of the ball, this is a great matchup. I like the rebounding edge. Siakam out obviously helps. Everything I said favoring the Bulls here. If they just don't turn the ball over a million times and they don't give up like 20 more free throws to the Raptors, I think this will be closer. 6.5 should go away, so I think you should sit on that if you can. Bet365 has that line right now, by the way. All right, the game I like, Washington Wizards at the Boston Celtics. Celtics are the side we are looking at. They are 5.5 point favorites. I think this is a super duper buy low. Boston is graded as the 21st best offense, 21st best defense through the last 2 weeks. They have a minus 4.4 point differential, minus 5 against the closing spreads on average. They went 3-5. They look absolutely terrible some games, including the first game against the Wizards that I'm going to talk about a bit more in a second. So yeah, they are looking bad, but we still know that they are at least an average team, and the Wizards aren't as good as we grade them right now. They are riding a 7-1 streak through the last 2 weeks, plus 6.4 point differential, plus 9 against the closing spread. Yeah, but this is a bad spot for them. So this is their 7th game in 9 days, which is the worst you can see probably in the NBA ever. Back to back, they played last night. Bill and Westbrook just played 30 and 32 minutes, so the load wasn't huge, but still, 3rd and 4th back to back, 7-9 road game. Huge revenge spot for the Celtics. I think the game where they were embarrassed the most was the early game against the Wizards just like 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. We will use that closing line as one of our edges here. That game, both teams were on back-to-backs, so they were on equal rest, and the Celtics closed as a 7-point favorite there. Here they are on normal rest, and the Wizards are in that pretty terrible spot I was talking about, and we only have to lay 5.5 points. So basically, we get a 1.5 point discount after the first game. And if you factor in the spot, that is more like a 2.5, 3.5 point discount we are getting here with the Celtics. Overall, I could make a case for the Wizards. Their recent run has been pretty decent. They draw the 3rd most free throws in the league, and the Celtics are one of the worst teams at fouling. So that's a concern. But I mean, Celtics are all about the mid-range jumpers, and the Wizards allow the most in the league and at the highest field goal percentage. Celtics have a decent-sized rebounding edge here. The Wizards are like the bottom half of the league, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. Celtics grade as sixth best in offensive and 17th in defensive rebounding. Celtics are now on a 4-game homestand to wrap up the season. Things haven't been going that way recently, but I think they are due for a few wins. This is a good homestand to back them on. They already won the first game of the homestand against the Pacers. They beat them by 4. I think they can beat the Wizards by at least 6 here. So that's the side. I think if you believe in market efficiency, you will pretty quickly get to the realization that you cannot close -7 in a way worse spot than this one. The Wizards now should be way downgraded because of the scheduling spot they are in. 5.5 is just not enough. And in the first game, Smart was already out, so exact same injury spot. Also, we could see Westbrook and Beal sitting. As I said, they didn't play high minutes last night, but it's close to the All-Star break. We are seeing guys getting rested in these spots more and more. New York Knicks at the Detroit Pistons. New York is a 1-point road favorite. I think this is a decent spot overall for the Knicks, but they are getting a lot of respect here. My line is Pistons -1. I like the Knicks, but no value here on the road team. They just beat the Pacers last night. Randle played 42 minutes, Rose 38 in a start. Knicks are kind of short-handed. Peyton was out. Mitchell Robinson is obviously out. Third game in 4 nights, back-to-back with travel. The Pistons, on the other hand, are a team I'm not going to back for a while. These last few losses they had have been super fluky. You can make a case that they are tanking right now. Some weird spots where they should have scored and they didn't, and narrowly lost the game, which was supposed to be a W. Knicks will have a rebounding edge here. Pistons attack the rim at a super high rate, but the Knicks are a top 3 defense in the paint. So overall, I'm liking the matchup for the Knicks. They are like in the 5th seed right now, so they will put in 100% effort for sure. I'm not sure about Detroit's efforts here. But I'm not going to bet a game just based on that, but I would never back the Pistons here. So my line would be Detroit -1. Current line is around the pick'em. If Detroit gets to 1.5, 2 maybe, and everyone is in for the Knicks, then I would probably start looking at the road team, but not a game I'm really interested in, as we have way better games to look into and bet today. Another game that I'm going to be quick on, Atlanta Hawks at the Miami Heat. This is a game where we have tons of questionable players on both sides and some probables. Now, I'm normally not worried about probables, but getting close to the All-Star break, some of these probable guys will sit the games out. So, and I'm pretty sick of these last-minute scratches. So whenever big names are probable on both sides, I think that's a game to skip in the next couple of days. So the Hawks have Hunter out, Reddish doubtful. Young is questionable, obviously the most important injury here, and Gallinari is probable. For the Heat, Hero is questionable, and Bam Adebayo is probable. So Bam being probable, Gallinari on the other end, and Young is questionable for the Hawks, besides the regular injuries, as we know that Hunter has been out for a while, and we know about Reddish's issues. So yeah, you won't find value on the Miami Heat here, no matter what happens. They have won 5 straight games. They just beat the Utah Jazz, the best team in the league right now. I have been consistently upgrading the Heat. On the other end, consistently downgrading the Hawks. They grade as a bottom 5 defense. They have a 125 defensive rating. Absolutely terrible. Sorry, 114. That's their average, but still bad. I just cannot back them with Young being questionable. Obviously, a questionable tag close to the All-Star game is bad news. I think the current 6.5 is okay if we are leaning towards Young being out. But if he's out, I mean, this can balloon up to like, I don't know, 8.5 even. But overall, this would be a great spot to fade the Heat coming off that huge win. I think this is a good matchup for the Hawks overall. They are 5th in offensive, 16th in defensive rebounding. The Heat are the 3rd worst offensive rebounding team, and I mean, they are league average defensively. So yeah, rebounding edge for the Hawks. The Heat are putting up threes at an insane pace, similar to the Raptors. But the Hawks are relying the 3rd lowest field goal percentage from downtown. So the defense matches up well against what the Heat are doing. They are even okay in the paint. I've talked about the Heat attacking the rim a bit more, although they kind of haven't done that in the last few games, although they had some difficult matchups. So yeah, rebounding edge for the Hawks, good defensive matchup. I still believe their offense is decent. Probably a super market low rating for the Hawks. I don't think they will be rated worse than this through the season, and the Heat are at a pretty high spot. So yeah, I'm skipping the game. I'm not 100% comfortable with my ratings on both teams. I think if everyone is in, like a 5 would be a realistic spread. If we just dial back our upgrades on the Heat and our downgrades on the Hawks, but anything like between like 4.5 and 8, obviously depending on Young's status is fine by me. It's not a game I want to touch. I need to learn more about both of these teams going forward. If the Heat are going on a huge run to cap the season, I think there will be spots to fade them in the second half, but not right now. They are super. I mean, they are priced super expensive right now. Next game is one where I'm also liking a side. Memphis Grizzlies at the Houston Rockets. Rockets are on back-to-back. They will play a game tomorrow, so Oladipo is sitting this game out. This is the first game of a back-to-back. Wood is also out. I would make Memphis like a pick'em normally, but with if everyone was in on both squads. But with Wood and Oladipo out, I think they should be at least a 4-point favorites, and they are just 1-point favorites on Bet365 right now, and even the -2.5s we see on Bet Online and 5 dimes are not enough in my opinion. I'm not high on the Grizzlies. They are very inconsistent, but I mean, they are just a slightly below league average team. That's what we see through the last 2 weeks. Also, they grade as the 16th best offense, 17th best defense. They went 4-4 in the last 2 weeks, -1 point differential. So basically nothing special, but they are still trying, still in the hunt. They could get like a playoff spot easily, while the Rockets are nowhere in the neighborhood. They grade as the 3rd worst offense and the 4th worst defense through the last 2 weeks. They went 0-5, -15-point differential, -10 against the closing spread. I think they are just letting go before the All-Star break. It's not a good spot. Memphis have been they have been winning these games against teams that have just given up on the season. Grizzlies have a huge rebounding edge, 7th in offensive, 11th in defensive rebounding. Houston is 3rd worst in both. Overall, it's a very decent matchup. Memphis is putting up the most mid-range jumpers in the league. If you look at their recent game logs, like mid-range shot percentage, 42% of all the shots, 55, 42, 38, stuff like that. I mean, it's an insanely high percentage of their shots are coming from mid-range. Houston is allowing the eighth highest field goal percentage there. On the other hand, Houston is either getting to the rim or shooting a three, but they haven't been getting to the rim since Wood has been out. So they are mostly shooting threes. And while Memphis isn't a good three-point defense, what I've seen that Houston has the lowest field goal percentage in the league from downtown. So they are putting up tons of shots, but those are weak shots. Like they are just lazy and pull up from downtown and just let it go. Memphis has been getting better when it comes to perimeter defense. They played the Clippers twice now and the Mavs, and they in the last 3 games against these teams who are shooting pretty decent from deep, they just allowed a 38% three-point shooting, and overall it's getting better. And they are facing a team who is the least efficient when it comes to making threes. So yeah, I don't really think this is a bad matchup. And with the rebounding edge, them being fully healthy now, so they had some questionables and guys were sitting out from the starting lineup, but everyone is back right now, obviously, besides JJJ. I think without Wood and Oladipo on the Houston side, this is a huge discount we are getting on Memphis. I think Pinnacle will trade this game at least around Memphis minus 3.5. I think we could even get to 4, to be honest. So yeah, Memphis Grizzlies favorite bet of the day easily. Golden State Warriors at the LA Lakers. You are asked to pay a little extra with the Lakers here, but I don't really mind, to be honest. This could easily get down to 3.5 or 3. If this gets to 3, I don't think it will, but then I will bet the Lakers for sure. As I said, everyone is back besides AD. They are at home, no back-to-backs in sight. They will win some games here, in my opinion, and this is the lowest of the lows you can buy on the Lakers. They are 2-5 in the last 2 weeks, graded as the second worst offense in the league and the 11th worst defense, minus 8-point differential, super bad everywhere. I think Schroeder out, who is back right now, but he was out for multiple games, was almost a bigger hit than AD being out, as they are just very thin when it comes to quality guards. Overall, I like the matchup for LA, but as I said, right now I show a small number edge on the Warriors. So I would make this closer to 3 than 4, but at 3, based on the matchup and the spot, I would bet the Lakers. They have a way better offensive and defensive rebounding than the Warriors. Warriors are second worst in offensive and fourth worst in defensive rebounding. Lakers are top 15 on both sides. Lakers draw the 15th most free throws in the league. Warriors give up the second most. Lakers on the defensive end, they allow the 5th least. So huge rebounding edge, better free throw rate. Overall, I think their defense is better, and metrics are through the season way more stable and way better with the Lakers. So we get the better defense at home, the better free throw rate, team with the better free throw rate, better rebounding. And yeah, AD is out, but I mean, I don't really care. Golden State isn't, they don't really have any bigs, really. Mostly they are three-pointer or bust. Lakers are a pretty decent defense against threes. They allow the 6th lowest field goal percentage, 10th lowest number of threes. Good. I don't downgrade the Golden State defense. I give them credit. They grade as the 6th best team in points per possession, 4th best in effective field goal percentage allowed. They forced the 5th most turnovers. So some stuff is nice on the Golden State defense, but I think overall the Lakers are still the far better team. And so I have a small number edge on the Warriors, but I want to bet the Lakers, and I don't mind if this spread moves towards Golden State. I would need a 3 to get involved, so we are likely skipping. I don't think this touches 3. I think we will stay around 3.5 for the most part of the day. Phoenix Suns at the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm kicking myself for not betting Minnesota last night. I really like the Wizards, but I couldn't get to the number. It was simply Wizards were overpriced, but it was a great spot and they came through. This is another great spot, but laying 10 points on the road is difficult. Saric is questionable for the Suns. I don't think he will play. But the matchup is great. Phoenix is 8th in points per possession, 5th in effective field goal percentage, 4th lowest turnover rate on the offensive end. Minnesota defense 25th in points per possession allowed, 18th in effective field goal percentage allowed. It's not good. On the offensive end, Minnesota easily bottom 10. They average the third lowest points per possession against the top 5 defense in Phoenix's. And the Suns are a bad rebounding team, but Minnesota is one of the worst, so they will have a rebounding edge here. Better offense, better defense, and they are top 10 3-point offense facing a team that allows the 6th highest field goal percentage from downtown. As I said, I'm kicking myself for not fading Minnesota yesterday. I think the price is right here. I still don't. Karl Anthony Towns, if he is rested, we will get on the Suns no matter what the line is, to be honest. But I think he will play around 30 minutes, and he's such a huge difference maker on this team that's super depleted, missing their 2 other lead scorers. But I mean, some guys can step up, and Karl Anthony Towns is just too good. If he's in, I think 10.5 makes a lot of sense. Current line is 10. I'm fine with that. But even at 9.5, I would probably bet into this and I'm picking the Phoenix Suns to win comfortably here. Final game of the day, another one where I think the line is a bit off. Charlotte Hornets at the Sacramento Kings. Hornets are getting 2.5 points. I make the Hornets 2-point favorites here. So I think the line is off like 4 or 5 points here. Normally, I would be close to like Hornets -1. But I mean, the spot is bad for the Kings. They played their 3rd game in 4 nights. They've been in Detroit before this, so they also traveled. Zeller is questionable for the Hornets, but he has been upgraded to questionable, and everything points towards him playing. What's the most important for the Kings is Haliburton is out. He's the best player on the bench. They are a bottom 5 bench team. They just average like 33 points from the bench, which is like really bad. And Haliburton out is obviously going to hurt them even more. I don't think. I mean, him out is like a downgrade. You have to really factor in at least 1 point, maybe 1.5, 2. That might sound crazy, but they just don't have the talent on the bench who can score this much. Kings are the worst defense in the league through the last 2 weeks, last month, through the entire season. They are allowing now 125 points per 100 possessions. They have a -12 point differential. Hornets, on the other end, 20th best team in the league on both sides of the ball, but they play smart basketball. They force the 3rd most turnovers in the league. They are fouling the 7th least. They just play smart basketball overall. And as all smart teams, they are either getting to the rim for the easy layup or just shooting the corner 3. These 2 shots, 3-pointers and close layups combined make like 75% of what they do, basically, if you look at the shot map. And the Kings allow the 4th highest field goal percentage around the rim and the 2nd highest field goal percentage from downtown. So overall, a very decent matchup. Kings are just putting up lazy mid-range shots mostly, a bit similar to the Rockets situation, although they are a bit better at making them. But Hornets allow the least of these shots in the league and the 10th lowest field goal percentage overall. So yeah, matchup is great for the Hornets. Haliburton out is a huge loss. Kings 3rd and 4th. Only bad thing is that the Hornets play at Portland tomorrow, so it's a back-to-back for them. But I don't mind. I think they know it. This is a must-win. They should be slight favorites here, and they are dogs on the books that have lines up. You should be getting on these +2.5s. These will be gone in a minute. So let's wrap up for today. Size that I like the Chicago Bulls getting 6.5. That should be 4.5, 5 max. I'm more comfortable with 4.5. I think even at 5, I would probably bet into this, given how good the matchup is. Celtics should be 7-point favorites here or so. Let me just check my number. Yeah, it should be around 7. They are just 5.5. I really like the Memphis Grizzlies. I make them 4-point favorites, and yeah, they are only 1-point favorite right now, which is insanely bad. And I like the Charlotte Hornets. I make them 2.5 point favorites. They are 2.5 point dogs right now. I think bookmakers were super lazy on these soft books today. Uh, we very rarely get this much value on the board at this time of the day, but I think most of this will be gone by the time Chris and Pinnacle open up. So this is it for today. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. If you want to team up plays, you can go to patreon.com/the barrel zone and join the Discord channel. I'm putting up write-ups for all games at 4 a.m. Eastern. Softbook picks go out at 1 to 2 a.m. Eastern, and Pinnacle picks early when Pinnacle opens up. I'm right there. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will be back at the same time tomorrow. Good luck with your wagers, and see you in March, I guess.